Welcome back. Today is the day. It has finally happened. The tennis season is back into flow. And I know you may be thinking, well, what are you talking about? You've been talking tennis for a few months now. Uh, Australian Open has happened. But me personally, I think that the clay court tennis season is the 7 weeks is the most real raw tennis talent you will see. The players who rise in the rankings. The players who have points to defend are the best tennis players in the world. Um, my guy is up there. He's 10th in points to defend on clay this clay swing, and they're all from Roland Garros. But am I? You may be wondering why I say that. Well, it's simply because on hard court and grass courts, they play a lot faster, right? So you can have a big serve and a big punch shot, like big, powerful shots, and just automatically win points within 3, 4 rallies. But if you try that on clay, it's not going to work. That's why Riley Opelka doesn't go far in these tournaments. No shade to Riley specifically. Ben just got eliminated in a 250 quarterfinal yesterday by Thiago uh, Taranti. Yes, I knew who that is, but no tennis like casual's gonna know that person, right? He's not even top 100, I don't think. Yeah, I think he will be. And Roman Andres Burchaga learned his name this week. He's about to be a finalist because he's up. Well, not he's up 4-1 in the first set against Thiago. And what I find so interesting about the clay is you can't have one aspect of tennis, right? If you're playing clay court and you're making it far in clay court tournaments, you have to be fast because you're going to have to be running back and forth to a lot of the balls because it plays slower. So you have more time to get to the ball, but so does your opponent, right? And so you have to be fast. You have to be able to cover the court. You have to be strong. You have to be strategic, right? Strength I guess you could go a little with that strength, but you have to be really strategic because if you hit the wrong shot once in a rally and your opponent gets there, the rally could be over in the next 2 shots and you've lost it. You have to be aware. You have to be this is so important because clay takes weird bounces. The hard court's never going to surprise you with what type of bounce it takes, but it could bounce any which way on the clay. Um, and so that's why you have to be aware of like what to do. And the reason I say that the clay court season starts today is because today is the first day of qualifiers for Monte Carlo, the tournament, the first big clay tournament of the season. We'll see both Sinner and Alcaraz. Could be our first Sincaraz final of the year. I'm not gonna lie, last year Sincaraz finals annoyed me a lot because it's the same two guys every week. But I miss seeing a Sincaraz. I could use one right now. If it's not gonna be Big Foe, I would take Sincaraz final. Oh yeah, and of course Tiafoe, my favorite player, draws Alcaraz in the round of 16 because that's just like Dimitrov round of 32, Alcaraz round of 16 is such BS for like a 13 seed at a tournament, but it is what it is. Um, and so we have, I think, if I'm math correct, we have Monte Carlo, we have Italy, and there's one more I think. We have because Monte Carlo, and then there's one right after, and then there's a break, and then there's Italy. So there's 3 or 4 Masters events on the clay, and then obviously Roland Garros, the big one, the Grand Slam, which is just a few weeks apart from Wimbledon, which is the biggest Grand Slam. And then we're right back on hard courts because for some reason they don't show what grass courts love, but it is what it is. And something I want to note about clay courts is this is where the South Americans come out. This is where we see a lot of guys that we don't normally see. Like I said, Thiago Augustin Taranti in the semifinals against Roman Andres Burchaga is not something we're normally seeing. We're not seeing Jasmine or Tenzi make semifinals on hard court. But the thing that this does is it pushes you to your limit. And I saw, obviously, Marino Navone, Argentinian, making a final on clay. That's rare. And this is just what's going to happen more often now because these they come out, especially right now. Maybe not next week when everyone's playing. Like this week, there's not as many top players playing. But next week, it's Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, uh, Medvedev, Novak. I think we're not sure where Novak is. I think he's in the draw. I haven't heard any news that he wouldn't be, but he missed. I believe he missed Miami, but he played Indian Wells. So that's just real quick check. He is not in the draw. Wow. Okay. when will he be back? I don't know. Let's check the news. Well, he's not usually good at Monte Carlo anyway, so it's fine. And I think Tsitsipas could kind of have a bounce back tournament here if he wins a few. I think he's gonna win a few rounds. Obviously, we're gonna see one of my favorite matchups that I can't wait for in the first round in a few days. We have Ugo Humbert, top 30 Frenchman, versus 17-year-old wildcard Mousse Kwame. I've been following Kwame since I found his name back in January, and he's won some interesting matches. He's made some good challenger runs, and I think he's going to be really good. I don't think he's going to be able to contend for slams, but I think he'll win a Masters 1000 or two. If we have guys like Baccarat winning them, yeah. Um, but like basically, my overall consensus here is that the clay court takes more effort and skill, and this is why I consider it real tennis. Um, and there's some interesting storylines upcoming. Obviously, lots of points to defend for the world number one, Carlitos Alcaraz. He has not won a tournament. Oh, no, he won the Australian Open, but he's on a losing streak, and Sinner took the Sunshine Double. He didn't even make the final of either of those, which is rare. And so Sinner, I believe there's a few situations, but the most obvious situation for Sinner to take the world number one back from Carlos would be if Sinner wins Monte Carlo and then Alcaraz loses in or before the semifinals. Sinner would be the world number one. And there's obviously a few other ones, but they're way less likely than that one. My prediction, I think Alcaraz is going to take two of the 3 or 4 Masters events, but I think Sinner's got a really good chance to defeat him at Garros this year. If not, I think this is Zverev's last chance to win a Grand Slam, because I think he's kind of hitting that point where he's starting to regress a little bit, and like at the peak of his career, like the downward spiral, and I think he's best on clay, so I think this is his best chance to finally win a slam, and if he doesn't do it in France, I don't think he's going to do it. I hope Francis does it, but we all know that's not happening. But exciting enough for Francis. He does have his semifinal today, ATP 250 in Houston against Tommy Paul. Something that is interesting is that Francis Tiafoe's the final for Houston is on the same day as first round matches in Monte Carlo. So I'm assuming if he wins today, he'll get a bye to the second round, because I think that's what happened when Vicky Mbogo won Canada last year, and she got an auto bye to the second round of the U.S. Open, even though she would have not had that otherwise. And Berchaga just took the first very quickly against Toronto, which is interesting because that means that Paul and Big Foot will be on the court soon, the American semifinal, and they're obviously whoever wins that will be the heavy favorite against whoever wins the first one. And so it's just interesting to see, in my opinion, who wins on clay, because I think it takes more skill. And yeah, you can argue that the other ones take more skill, but if you look up best tennis rallies of all time, you're going to see the clay court 80% of the video, because that's just what it is. There's more insane shots, there's more gets, there's more running, longer rallies, and I love longer rallies. There's more breaks of serve because the serve is heavily regressed because the ball's going slower. So you can't have a Riley Opelka serve bottom clay, because they're going to get the serve back in, and then you're going to make an unforced error because that's just his type of game. I'm not really excited for clay court season. Again, I think Carlos is going to sweep most of it, but I don't think he's going to win Roland Garros 3 times in a row. And then on the women's side, we haven't really talked about that. This is where our girl, Iga Swiatek, the Polish girl, this is where she comes to play. This is how she keeps her ranking so high. It's the clay courts. Don't be surprised when she starts winning. Coco is not defending Roland Garros. I don't know how far that's going to... It won't drop her too much, I don't think, but she is not going to be defending that title. I can guarantee it. I think Sabalenka, Swiatek in the final or the semifinal will probably be whoever wins the tournament. And on the women's side, but I'm just excited. You could tell by how fast I'm talking. I'm just rambling about random stuff. But this is my favorite time of year to watch tennis, as someone who's been watching it for about a year and a half now. This is will be 2 years in September. So last year, I remember this being my favorite. I remember loving Monte Carlo, and I just can't wait for Roland Garros as well, because that is fun. It's right at the end of the school year in May. So you're studying for your test, and you got a 5-setter between in the background in the quarterfinals. It's great to do. It's so much fun, but Thank you for watching. I will post this a bit later. I'm going to go eat lunch, and then I will post this either after the Sixers tonight or something. But this will get out today, hopefully. And thank you for watching.